Thank you very much. Welcome to the State of the University Address. My name is Perry Brown. I have the pleasure of serving as the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and I want to welcome you to the beginning of fall semester 2015, with a special welcome for those of you who made the choice to join us for the first time this year. As we begin this event, please join me in thanking our sign language interpreters, Bonnie Christensen and Denise May. Thank you. On the stage are the deans of the university. I will introduce them and ask them to stand. And your first test is, please hold your applause until they are all standing. Dean Christopher Comer, the College of Humanities and Sciences. Yeah. One failure. Go on. Larry Gianchetta, Dean of the School of Business Administration. Bobby Evans, Dean of the Phyllis J. Washington College of Education and Human Sciences. Dean Roger McLean, the School of Extended and Lifelong Learning. Wayne Fryman, Interim Dean of the College of Forestry and Conservation. Reed Humphrey, Dean, the College of Health Professions and Biomedical Sciences. Brock Tessman, Dean of the Honors College and one of our new deans. Larry Abramson, Dean of the School of Journalism. Paul Kurgis, another one of our new deans. He's taking the helm of the Alexander Blewett III School of Law. Dean Shannon O'Brien, another newcomer, as Dean of Missoula College. Shali Zhang, Dean of the Marine and Mike Mansfield Library, and Stephen Kalm, Dean of the College of Visual and Performing Arts. Thank you, and you can sit down. Thank you. Now I'll ask the deans to introduce new faculty members joining their schools and colleges. I will begin with Dean Christopher Comer, Dean of the College of Humanities and Sciences, and each of the other deans who have new faculty members will follow in the order that they are seated on the stage. So, Dean Comer.
Thank you, Perry. It gives me great pleasure this morning to welcome 8 new faculty members to the University of Montana on behalf of the College of Humanities and Sciences. First, for the Department of Anthropology, Dr. Meredith Snow. Meredith got her PhD from the University of California, Davis, and has been recently a lecturer here in the Department of Anthropology. Her field of specialty is studying ancient DNA, so you might say she's a molecular archaeologist. Welcome. Next, the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, Dr. Don Wang. He comes to us from Princeton University, where he's been a postdoctoral associate and got his PhD from the University of Minnesota. His area is really the interface between inorganic chemistry and biochemistry. Welcome. Yes. And please do stand if you're present. I know everyone's not here, but many of you are. Next, for the Department of English, Erin Wecker. Dr. Wecker received her PhD from the University of New Hampshire and has been most recently a lecturer at Boston College. Welcome. Her area of specialty is rhetoric and composition. Next, the Department of Geosciences, Dr. Peyton Gardner. Peyton comes to us from Sandia Laboratories, where he worked for the International Atomic Energy Agency. And his PhD is from the University of Utah, and his specialty is hydrogeology. Welcome, Peyton. Next, the Department of Mathematical Sciences. Dr. Frederick Peck received his PhD from the University of Colorado, and his specialty is mathematics education. Welcome. Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures, Dr. Pablo Requena. He comes to us from the University of Pennsylvania State University, and his specialty is Spanish language and linguistics. Welcome, Pablo. Next from the Department of Psychology, and I'm fairly certain she couldn't be here this morning, but Dr. Rachel Severson comes to us from the University of British Columbia, where she was a postdoctoral fellow. She got her PhD from the University of Washington, and she's a developmental psychologist. Finally, from the Division of Biological Sciences, Dr. Zach Chevron. Zach was most recently an assistant professor at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, but has now moved here to Missoula. He got his PhD from Louisiana State University, and his field is ecological physiology and genomics. Welcome. On behalf of the College of H&S, I'd like to welcome you all to the campus and say you've joined the heart and soul of the University of Montana. Thanks.
Good morning. We in the School of Business are delighted to introduce Teresa Floyd. Teresa, please stand. Teresa got her undergraduate and a master's degree from the University of Syracuse in fashion and textile design, and then went to work in the industry with industry giants, and then had her own fashion design company. Went off to the University of Georgia and got her PhD in management, and she will be an assistant professor in the Department of Management and Marketing. Welcome. One other brief announcement is Terry Herron, who was interim dean in the School of Business for the last 2 years, is no longer interim associate dean, is no longer interim associate dean. She has taken on the full role of associate dean, and consequently, Bruce Costa, who was the interim chair of accounting and finance, is, by vote of his faculty, now the chair of accounting and finance.
I'm pleased to welcome you all to the University of Montana and look forward to getting to know you across this year. Very proud of the hires we have made, the first choice from every search conducted in the college. Beginning with the Department of Communicative Sciences and Disorders, we have brought on LeBron James. Actually, this woman comes from Utah State, where she has been an exemplary, internationally known faculty member and comes with wonderful administrative experience as well, and her name is Julie Walter. Not listed in your program, but an important introduction today is our new director of the Montana Safe Schools Center. She's a lawyer, graduate of Oregon and poli-sci in law, has worked in Olympia for the court system, and previously served as the Montana Director of Crime Control, Brooke Marshall. In keeping with our growth in early childhood education and the new portfolio of degrees, we are very pleased to bring an international expert, happens to be from Montana, onto our faculty. Her book, In Play and Therapy and Play in Space, has impacted early childhood across the globe. Julie Bullard. The next announcement comes as a gift and is gifted and gifted squared. We were very fortunate last year to be the recipients of a generous donation by Suzanne and Dave Peterson for the new Professor of Gifted Education, the only tenure track line of its kind in the state of Montana. And if you look at page 19, you will see we hired the best of the best, truly gifted, and will bring much joy to us as she transforms gifted education in Montana and exceptionalities across the country. Tracy Missette. And finally, due to the BRAIN initiative and other curriculum work, morphing our curriculum from educational psychology into the neuroscience of learning, we sought nationally an expert with that background and are so thrilled to have joining our team, Jingjing Sun. Thank you.
Good morning. I have the real honor to welcome 6 faculty to the College of Forestry and Conservation. We're filling some big shoes, and we have some new positions that are just going to get started and take us new places. Chad Bishop is joining us as Associate Professor and Director of our Wildlife Biology program. Chad did his PhD in Wildlife Biology at Colorado State University, and most recently was the Assistant Director for Wildlife in Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Thanks, Chad. Brian Chaffin is joining us as an Assistant Professor of Water Policy. Brian comes to us from Oregon State University, where he did his PhD, but most recently he's been a National Academics Postdoctoral Research Associate for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Good to see you, Brian. Ben Coleman will be joining us. He's not here yet, but he'll be joining us later this year as an associate or assistant professor of aquatic ecology. Ben did his PhD in soil microbial ecology from UC Santa Barbara, and he's coming here from Duke University, where he is a research assistant professor. Phil Higuera will also be joining us later this year. He's an associate professor of fire ecology. Phil did his PhD at the University of Washington and is coming here from an assistant professor position at the University of Idaho. Jennifer Thompson is here, and I believe Jen is coming in as an associate professor, or assistant professor, sorry. Wait a couple years for that one. Assistant professor of Parks, Tourism, and Recreation. She did her PhD at Clemson University, but is coming here from a postdoc at Stanford University. So welcome, Jen. Andrew Whitley will join us later this year as an assistant professor of fish conservation genomics. Andrew is one of our own, a PhD in organismal biology and ecology here at UM, and he's most recently an assistant professor at the University of Massachusetts. So we're looking forward to a great year with a lot of new energy, and welcome everybody.
Good morning. The College of Health Professions and Biomedical Sciences is pleased to welcome 4 new additions to our faculty and administration. The first of which is Philippe Diaz, and Philippe, standing back there. So Philippe has actually been with the university for some time, most recently as a research associate professor at the University of Montana and an exemplary scientist in medicinal chemistry. And we're delighted he's chosen to remain and move into a tenure stream position as associate professor, native of France, Nice, and PhD from the University of Marseille. So Philippe Diaz. A hire who's not with us yet, he arrives in January, is Dr. Travis Hughes, who comes to us by way of the University of Colorado Boulder. He'll also be in the department as Philippe in the Department of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Dr. Hughes arrives in January. I saw Monica. Dr. Monica Servin joins us. Please stand, Monica. Dr. Monica Servin joins us in the Material Science program at the university and within our college. Comes to us most recently as a senior scientist at Allergan Medical between 2011 and 2014. Her PhD is from the University of Utah in 2007 and did lecture at Tufts University most recently. So welcome, Monica. And in physical therapy, close to my heart, we've hired Dr. Anita Sanders here. Hello, Anita. We were able to lure Anita west after a long and distinguished career at, I shouldn't have emphasized long, right, Anita? After a distinguished career at Stony Brook University, and so comes to us now as associate professor and chair of the School of Physical Therapy in Rehabilitation Science. Her PhD is from Temple University, and as former chair of physical therapy, I can't tell you how delighted we are to have brought someone who's a seasoned leader to the University of Montana. Thanks for coming to your senses and coming west, Anita. Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of the newly named Alexander Blewett III School of Law, I'd like to welcome 2 new faculty members. We have Monty Mills. Monty is an expert in Indian law who joins us after serving as the director of the Legal Center for the Southern Ute Tribe in Colorado. And we have Cathay Smith. Cathay is an expert in property law and intellectual property, and she comes to us from the University of Denver's Sturm School of Law. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm very happy to introduce a new library faculty and assistant professor, Andrea Elger. She's here, I believe. And Andrea, she's a e-learning and instructional technology librarian at the Mansfield Library. She came in and brought in excellent experience as a search editor and analyst from Yahoo. Welcome, Andrea.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I'm representing the Missoula College and delighted to introduce Michelle M. Bowler, who is assistant professor. She comes to us from not only the University of Montana with bachelor's degree, but also a master's degree from George Washington University. And she will be in our medical information technology and coding. In our Department of Health Professions, I am delighted to introduce Wendy Barker, who has a nursing education master's from American Sentinel University, as well as a BSN from West Virginia University. And she has served as a registered nurse within the Missoula community, and we're delighted to have her. Additionally, in health professions, I am happy to announce Pamela Boyd as assistant professor, who has a degree from Gonzaga University, Montana State University, and is with us and has extensive experience in nursing. We're delighted to have her there. Paul Crockford comes to us as an assistant professor. He has a BS from the University of Kansas Medical Center and also another degree from another institution over there. But we're delighted to have him in our respiratory therapy program. Welcome, Paul. Daniel J. Funch will be joining us or continuing his great work with us as an assistant professor, and he has a degree from the University of Montana, and as well as the State University of New York in Binghamton, and he has some great experience as executive director of the American Neuropathic Certification Board, among other things. It's great to have you here. And certainly last but not least, Dixie McLaughlin is our assistant professor as well as our director of our nursing programs. And she comes to us from Regis University as well as the University of Montana. And she has served us in the greater Missoula health professions community, and we are delighted to have you on board.
Good morning. On behalf of the College of Visual and Performing Arts, I'm pleased to introduce 2 new assistant professors in the School of Music. First, we have Zachary Cooper. There you go. And Zachary comes to us from, well, he got his doctorate at the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and he's a horn player, wonderful horn player, and teaches music theory as well. Zachary also recently was a lecturer at Morehead State University. Then we have Emily Labelle. Emily is a composer, wonderful composer, and will be teaching music composition. Emily is got her doctorate at the University of Toronto and was a resident composer for the Youth Orchestra, National Youth Orchestra of Canada. So welcome, Emily.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have all of you that have joined us. I will enjoy meeting you at the new faculty orientation this afternoon so we can get to know each other a little bit better. But thanks for joining us. We're really happy to have you. And as you listen to where they came from, the kinds of things that people have been doing, it's pretty obvious that we have a wonderful and very talented class of new colleagues coming in this year. So thank you. Now I would like to introduce all of those people that received a special honor this year as either being tenured at the University of Montana or promoted in their faculty position, and a few both at the same time. I would like those people that I name to stand and remain standing until I've completed the list of, say, tenured people, so you can see who all they are at one time, and then applaud them all at the same time. All right? So if you would hold your applause till they're all standing, and they all stand, we will do this well. Okay? So I want to start with those people that were awarded tenure this year. Keith Anderson, School of Social Work. Lee Banville, Department of Print and Photojournalism. Matthew Bundle, Department of Health and Human Performance. Amanda Dawsey, Department of Economics. Catherine Hale, Department of Pharmacy Practice. Matthew Hammond, School of Art. Andrew Larson, Department of Forest Management. Henrietta Lowish, Department of Print and Photojournalism. Marco Mineta, Department of Geosciences. Nathan McCready, Department of Physics and Astronomy. Douglas Rayford, Department of Computer Science. Daisy Rooks, Department of Sociology. Cameo Stanek, Department of Psychology. Megan Stark, Mansfield Library. Paul Lucas, Department of Ecosystem and Conservation Sciences. Francis O'Reilly, Department of Educational Leadership. Kent Swift, Department of Accounting and Finance. Kyle Volk, Department of History. Please, let us acknowledge all of these people that have... Now I'd like to recognize those people that were promoted during this past year. Again, please stand until your name is read, and all of you are standing at one time so everybody can hold their applause till you're all up and standing. The first one is Michelle Antonelli, School of Theater and Dance. David Cody, School of Music. Well, these are people promoted to full professor, by the way. Sorry. Nancy Cook, Department of English. Bambi Duma, Department of Management and Marketing. Ramona Gray, Department of Political Science. Christopher Hahn, School of Music. Joel Harper, Department of Geosciences. Samantha Hines, Mansfield Library. Ulrich Kamp, Department of Geography. Artie Kia, Department of Anthropology. Cameron Lawrence, Department of Management Information Systems. Douglas McDonald, Department of Anthropology. Bill McCaw, Department of Educational Leadership. Valerie Moody, Department of Health and Human Performance. Andrew Smith, School of Media Arts. Brian Steele, Department of Mathematical Sciences. Celia Winkler, Department of Sociology. Stephen Yoshimura, Department of Communication Studies. Please join with me in acknowledging these full professors at the University of Montana. And now I'd like to introduce those who have been promoted to Associate Professor, same drill. Annie Belcourt, Department of Pharmacy Practice. John Byington, Alexander Blewett III, School of Law. We're going to get that down pretty soon here, I'll just tell you. This is brand new for us, so this is wonderful. Amanda Dowsey, Department of Economics. Johan Eriksson, School of Music. David Gates, Department of English. Kwa Ha, Department of English. Matthew Hammond, School of Art. Patty Curo, Department of Educational Leadership. Andrew Larson, Department of Forest Management. Marco Mineta, Department of Geosciences. Emily Plant, Department of Management and Marketing. Daisy Rooks, Department of Sociology. Samuel Stanek, Department of Psychology. Suzanne Tillman, Department of Management and Marketing. Please join with me in acknowledging Congratulations to all of you that were promoted this year. It's just a pleasure to have you on the faculty, and it's wonderful that we were able to acknowledge you at this time for the progress that you have made in your careers. Now, I purposely passed over someone when we were introducing everybody on the stage, because the central feature of our morning here is the next person that I would like to introduce. It's my pleasure to introduce the President of the University of Montana. In October, he will have completed 5 years as our president. It's been a wild ride, with some stress and a lot of success. And through it all, he has maintained an eye on the greatness of the university and on its continuous improvement. His vision for creating one of the finest public flagship universities in North America has been constant, and we are making it a reality. For those of you who have just joined us, UM now ranks within the top 2% of universities in the world. One distinctive feature of President Engstrom's leadership is an emphasis on hiring excellent faculty, staff, and administrators. The results of this are clear week after week as our students and graduates and our faculty and staff win national and international awards. Every week this seems to happen. Our faculty members also garner record research contracts, and the UM Foundation has greatly exceeded fundraising benchmarks for 2 years in a row. Thanks to President Engstrom and his leadership and the dedication of every employee on every campus of the University of Montana, that's all of us, UM is a creative, innovative, and dynamic university of the 21st century. I now introduce to you President Royce Engstrom.
Good morning. Great to have you here today. It seems like everyone is in a good mood as we start the semester, so I'm glad to hear that. A little hooping and hollering along the way is just fine. I'd like to welcome you to the new academic year at the University of Montana. For the past couple of weeks, students have been arriving on campus for pre-academic year activities, and of course, during the course of these few days that we're in right now, our students will be moving into the residence halls and flocking back to campus. I met yesterday and the day before with parents of our new students and with a bunch of the new students themselves. And those parents, the look in their eyes as they leave their children in our care is very moving to me. And it's one of the best times of the year to see the new crop of students come here and embark upon the adventure of their lifetime. I'm always energized by the beginning of the new school year, and I know you are too. We're all here because we feel that education is among the most important functions of our society, and we're rewarded by giving the next generation of young people the kinds of opportunities that we've each had. Thank you all for your hard work on behalf of the University of Montana. We've had an active summer here at UM, so if you don't feel quite rested up the way you thought you might, that's understandable. I want to give you just a few examples of some of the things that have happened during the course of this summer. Teenagers from around the country took a 2-week crash course in global journalism through the long-standing Schwanke Institute at the Davidson Honors College. At UM this summer, we welcomed over 420 international students and international scholars to campus through 13 different programs. They included our Humphrey Fellows, 2 groups of faculty and administrators from Chinese universities for the International Scholarly Exchange curriculum, 24 public land managers from around the world as participants in the annual International Seminar on Protected Area Management. This summer we've had writing camps, math camps, art and music camps, sports camps, language institutes, game programming camps, international baccalaureate camp, learning disorders camps, and countless others that took place over the course of the summer. I know this means a lot of work on the part of so many people, so I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to all of you who played some role in bringing these folks to our campus during the course of the summer. And of course, tomorrow will signal the end of the summer, the beginning of the fall, because tomorrow UM is in the national spotlight as the Montana Grizzlies take on the NDSU Bison on national television. I hope you're going to cheer on the Grizzlies, whether you are there with the other 26,000 crazy people in the stadium or on national television. We wish Coach Stitt and his team the very best. Those of you who are new to campus, I extend you a special UM welcome. You've joined an amazing community, and we look forward to your contributions and accomplishments. We're delighted to have you here. You are joining the ranks of some pretty remarkable people, and I want to introduce you to just a few of them here in the next few minutes. People like Beverly Chen, professor and chair of our English department, who just recently became the recipient of the 2015 Richard Halley Teaching Award from the National Council on Teachers of English. Professor Chen, would you please stand and let us thank you? There she is right there. Congratulations, Beverly. People like Mike DeGrandpré, professor of chemistry, along with his business partner Jim Beck of Sunburst Sensors, who have been the recipients of the Wendy Schmidt X Prize, an international competition to address our world's greatest opportunities and challenges. They just won a $1.5 million award and international recognition for themselves and for UM. Mike, I think you're here somewhere. There he is, right here. Congratulations. Research professors Sarge Patel and Tom Rao and their colleagues became one of only 6 nationally funded teams by the NFL and General Electric in a one-of-a-kind project searching for biomarkers related to concussion and head trauma. I'm not sure if Sarge or Tom is here this morning, but what a great accomplishment for them as well. So for our new folks, the standard is pretty high at the University of Montana. But listening to the backgrounds that we just heard on each of you, I know that you're up to the challenge and you'll serve the university and yourselves proudly. There are several people in the audience today I'd like to now recognize and introduce. First, I'd like to call on my wife, Mary, who is my partner in this adventure, and say thank you to you. Mary, thanks very much for everything you do. I'm so pleased to welcome our Commissioner of Higher Education, Clay Christian, a graduate of this institution and a great leader in higher education. Clay, thank you for being here. I see sitting next to Clay that we are honored to have Sheila Stearns here with us, the former Commissioner of Higher Education and also a graduate of this institution 3 times. We're privileged to have one of our regents here, Regent Fran Albrecht from Missoula. Fran, thank you for being here and for your service. I don't believe our student regent, Asa Holman, is here, unless I haven't seen him, but Asa is our new student regent. Asa is a graduate of this institution, a two-term ASUM president, and now he's in law school here at the University of Montana, so we're so pleased to have Asa as our student regent. I also was told that one of our former presidents, Jim Cook, came in the audience. Jim, are you here? Came in and snuck out, I guess he didn't hear what he wanted to hear. I'm looking forward to working with the new leadership teams of our shared governance campus structure here as well, and I'd like to introduce those that are here. Bill Borey and John DeBoer, the chair and the chair-elect of our Faculty Senate. Jen Zelmer Quaresma and Maria Mangold, President and Vice President of the Staff Senate. And our student leaders who aren't here today because they're off on their own retreat, Cody Mexner, Betsy Story, and Sarah Smith. I look forward to working with them. I also have the privilege of working with just a fantastic set of executive officers on my cabinet, and I would ask the cabinet if you would stand and let me thank you for the great work that you do on a day in and day out basis. So Provost Brown introduced our new faculty a few moments ago, and I would like to now introduce some of our new administrators. Several of these people have been on campus for a while, and so you'll recognize them, but they've assumed a new role over this past year. Others are brand new to campus, and so I'll call them, and let's use the provost method here, so let's have them all stand up, and then we'll applaud them at the end. So Becky Christians is our new Associate Vice President for Administration and Finance. Brian Doyen is our head volleyball coach. Wayne Fryman, you met, our interim dean for the College of Forestry and Conservation. Joseph Hickman, our registrar. Matt Higgins, our head golf coach. Paul Kurgis, you met, dean of the Alexander Blewett III School of Law. Kevin Krebsbach, interim director of Facility Services. John McCormick, director of Business Services. Shannon O'Brien, dean of Missoula College. Bob Stitt, head football coach. Brock Tessman, dean of the Davidson Honors College. Melissa Wilson, assistant vice president for marketing and communications at the University of Montana Foundation. Paulo Zagallo Melo, associate provost for Global Century Education. So those are some of our new administrators, so let's recognize them. I do find it hard to believe that I'm nearing the completion of 5 years as president of this wonderful university. I have to say that it's been an unimaginable privilege to serve in that position and to work with everybody to build UM into one of the finest and most impactful universities anywhere. This morning, I want to talk candidly with you about 3 broad areas. I want to talk about those things that we have accomplished together during the last 5 years, those challenges that we have faced and that we continue to face, and our areas of focus for the next 5 years. And in each case, I want to stress that the progress and the accomplishments are the result of tremendous team effort of people working hard day in and day out. Let's begin with research and creative scholarship. Our mission, as defined by the state of Montana and embraced by our faculty and staff, includes the pursuit of research and creative scholarship. Our strategic plan, in fact, includes a section called Discovery and Creativity to Serve Montana and the World. Here's just one specific example of a research area of undisputed leadership at the University of Montana. UM has always been known for our work in the area of ecology and conservation, even before those words became common. Frank and John Craighead were nationally acclaimed researchers decades ago in the area of wildlife biology. A recent analysis of the impact of research in this area showed that on a per scientist basis, UM leads the nation in scholarly output and impact of that output. Among other things, excuse me, a little too much smoke in the air these days. Among other things, that fact has led to the recruitment and attraction of some wonderful people, some of whom we've met this morning. I want to tell you about one other one. We just recruited a new director of our world-renowned Flathead Lake Biological Station, a fellow named Jim Elser from Arizona State. Jim is considered to be one of the top 5 ecologists, aquatic ecologists in the country, and it's that reputation and productivity of our faculty that helped recruit him here. We have many other examples of where UM researchers have been selected to nationally prominent roles based on their scholarship. Kelly Dixon from anthropology and her students are leading the majority of the efforts on a landmark project at UM, where we are one of only 2 institutions in the nation selected to study the assets managed by the Army Corps of Engineers. Many of the initial projects in that partnership include the curation of artifacts important to the United States Navy. So Kelly's team is researching and cataloging countless artifacts housed in Richmond, Virginia. Anya Jabor of our history department was asked to be a consultant on a national PBS drama about the Civil War based on her research and writing about the lives of women during that time period. More and more, research at UM is leading to practical applications to products and businesses. The number of patents at the university has grown now to over 100. Montech, our business incubator facility across the river, is filled to the brim with new companies, most of which have their origins here at the university, and they're in need of more space. One metric of research activity and impact is the level of external funding provided to a university for its research efforts. To be sure, this isn't the all-inclusive metric, but it is a metric that every research university follows and that receives state and national attention. I'm pleased to share with you that UM has set an all-time record for research funding in the year that just ended June 30th. Researchers at UM were awarded $83 million in external funding, up substantially from the previous high level of $71 million. Actual research expenditures this past year were in fact up 11% over the year before. So I congratulate all of the people, all the faculty and staff that have made this possible, and I want to recognize the leadership of Vice President Wittenberg for the strategic investments that he has made that are contributing to this trajectory. Thank you. Let me move on to a second critical area, and this is the area of fundraising. We rely heavily and with gratitude upon the core support of legislatively appropriated funds and the tuition dollars of our students. But to become the powerhouse institution to which we aspire, that will require the generosity of friends and donors who catch hold of the dream that UM represents. We've been blessed with tremendous gifts in this past year. You've heard about in the spring, Xander Blewett and his family made the transformative gift to our School of Law in the amount of $10 million, for which we have recognized him by renaming the law school. This was a terrific gift from an alumnus who is grateful for the education he received here and who sees it as his time to give back to the institution that helped shape his life. Last fall, Kyle and Kevin Washington announced a gift of $7 million to help build the new Washington Champion Center under construction. The Davidson Honors College and the Liberal Arts Building are both getting facelifts because of gifts this year from the Davidson family and from Dennis Eck, respectively. Due to the tremendously effective work of the UM Foundation under the leadership of Shane Geese, the deans and others, we have taken philanthropy to new heights. This year, I'm pleased to report a second straight year of over $50 million raised, 52.4 to be exact. By comparison, the previous record was $35 million. So let's give a round of applause for that accomplishment. In these past several years, we've seen responsive and creative approaches to education through academic innovation. Among some programs recently initiated are a collaborative PhD in materials science in partnership with Montana Tech and Montana State University, a pre-Peace Corps curriculum among the first in the nation based upon our tremendous record of sending people to the Peace Corps upon graduation. The introduction of Arabic as a new language and global studies as a new minor. An early childhood program, which was recognized as a top 10 online program in the country before it even started. Here's an especially responsive example of curriculum development. The area of data science has become increasingly important to our economy, our security, and our quality of life. At Missoula College, the faculty started a data security certificate program, enabling students of any major to attach this highly marketable expertise onto their education. The certificate was helped along by the construction of a cyber innovation lab in the Interdisciplinary Sciences building. The School of Business Administration began a data analytics certificate program, also applicable on top of any other major. Faculty in the School of Business now are in the process of designing a data analytics master's degree. Through the work of the Blackstone Launchpad, we now have a novel initiative called the Montana Code School operating on our campus, giving another route to adding important skills on top of any major. I commend the faculty from so many different areas who are contributing to this important direction in data science. A curriculum initiative of which I am especially proud is the Global Leadership Initiative, which just celebrated the graduation of the first class of fellows last May. These students come from a variety of backgrounds and interests and have taken part in a series of special educational experiences designed to help see themselves as leaders and equip them with the intellectual tools to become leaders. Yesterday, we met with 176 incoming freshmen who have selected into the Global Leadership Initiative this year. Academic innovation goes beyond the traditional classroom, though, on this campus, and beyond traditional students. We now have among the most energetic non-credit educational programs for seasoned adults, those are people over 50, through something called the Montana Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, or MOLLI as we know it on this campus. This is a cooperative venture involving the School for Extended and Lifelong Learning, the Bernard Osher Foundation, an advisory board of community members, and of course our faculty. Last spring, we enrolled 1,000 students in the MOLLI program, all from the Missoula area. Dual credit enrollment is another area where Missoula College is helping high school students get a jump start on college, and we lead the Montana University system in the number of students enrolled in dual enrollment, more than 400 last year. Programs like the Confucius Institute are reaching out to provide education to even younger students in the K-12 system. And the Bitterroot College down in Hamilton has established itself to the point where they've just moved into a new facility there. So academic innovation has been alive and well these last several years, and again, I'm so proud of the accomplishments and new programs that we have put forward as an institution. We have accomplished a great deal in the area of campus safety and sexual assault prevention and response, thanks to the hard work of countless people. Several weeks ago, standing in front of the cameras as we announced the completion of our Department of Justice resolution agreement with our UM Police Department, I marveled at the dedication and compassion I saw in the eyes of the people in the room. This was an accomplishment born out of challenge, but I'm here to say that we rose to that challenge. Just a few years ago, we were overwhelmed by the number of veterans coming to our campus. In the past 5 years, we've established a veterans center on campus. We've put in place a new staff under the direction of Sean Grove. We've modified our practices so that those men and women who have given so much to our country have a better chance of succeeding in college. Earlier this summer, we had an annual audit of our Veterans Affairs Office, and for the second year in a row, we had 0 concerns. In fact, our auditors told us that we were among the best operations that they have seen. Approximately 700 veterans are being served with the integrity they deserve. Last winter, I was proud to receive, on behalf of the University of Montana, our designation as a Purple Heart University, initiated by the veteran students themselves. In the past In the past 5 years, we have strengthened another area very much a part of this university, intercollegiate athletics. We've added a new NCAA sport, women's softball. We've added new facilities, including a softball complex, the just opened academic center at the Adams Center, and the Washington Champion Center, as I mentioned before, is underway. We've hired outstanding coaches and administrators who have the development of the whole student at the center of their attention. We've watched our teams compete athletically with tremendous success, bringing to our events enviable and, in some cases, national record attendances. We've watched our student athletes achieve academically as well. This past year, a conference-high 62 student athletes from UM were placed on the academic All Big Sky teams, and a record 155 of our students were named conference academic leaders. Women's basketball, women's golf, and women's cross country earned public recognition awards this past spring from the NCAA for ranking in the top 10% nationally among more than 300 Division I institutions in terms of academic performance. We've made some important infrastructure developments during these last 5 years. In addition to those that I've already mentioned, the Gilkey Center for Executive Education, Entrepreneurship, and Leadership is due to open in the spring. The new Missoula College building is under active construction as we speak, and I understand they had a major concrete pour this morning that a few of the folks in the room went to see. Yes. This magnificent building will provide educational opportunities commensurate with the importance of two-year education. The Interdisciplinary Sciences building is nearly completely built out now at this stage. Our IT infrastructure has improved dramatically. Wireless is complete in the on-campus residence halls and is available in many of our buildings around the campus. Our connectivity to campus is now at an amazing 100 gigabits, on par with any major university in the country. We finally have good connections at the West Campus of Missoula College, including wireless. Our university servers are securely housed in a new modular data center with ample space available to accommodate high-level computing from across campus and in an energy-efficient way. In fact, we've made significant strides in energy efficiency on this campus in general, meeting our 2015 targets for sustainability. So we have much of which to be proud that has occurred over these past several years. But we also have ongoing challenges that we have yet to address successfully, and chief among them is enrollment. Our enrollment trends have resembled a bit of a roller coaster this past decade. There are multiple reasons at play, but I'm beginning to think that the economic conditions we've experienced over this decade are the principal driver of much of what we have seen. As the economy plummeted beginning in late 2007, we experienced a dramatic growth in both two-year and four-year programs. Then as the economy improved, we saw that growth evaporate, and now we are essentially at pre-recession enrollments again. There are no doubt other factors at play: the declining Montana demographic, the popularity of engineering, which we don't have, and keen recruiting competition. The painful part of this trend is that we quickly convinced ourselves that the peak enrollments of 2011 were our new normal, and we've viewed the subsequent decrease in somewhat of a negative light. In hindsight, I think that peak was more of an aberration of the times. Directly related, of course, is the challenge of our budget, which, being enrollment-based essentially, flattened out after about 2012. While the absolute dollars increased somewhat from year to year in these last several years, our financial obligations grew faster, resulting in the internal reallocations of the past couple of years that we have gone through. The fraction of our budget spent on personnel has increased. During the years of enrollment growth, we staffed up to address the needs of our increasing student body, but until now, we have not really adjusted back down to staffing levels that reflect today's enrollment. As we go forward, we'll need to address this key issue. So let me now turn to what lies ahead for us in terms of key areas of emphasis. Well, given our success and our challenges, I believe deeply that the next 5 years present a tremendous opportunity for the University of Montana. It's time for us to embark upon the bold journey to be among the nation's most distinctive and effective public universities. We'll build from our unique combination of this magical place, the Montana work ethic, our expansive thinking, and our distinctive worldview. We'll focus on leadership at every turn among our students, our faculty, and our programs. The UM experience will transform our students. UM research will change our lives, and UM graduates will change the world. Now is the time for us to think big and to be bold. What are some of the steps we must take to start down this path? Let me return to that key question of enrollment. We must stabilize and grow our enrollment. Why? Well, first and foremost, because more students need to have the exceptional educational experience that UM offers. As the provost mentioned, hardly a week goes by anymore where we aren't recognized on some listing of outstanding universities or with national and international recognition of our individual people. From a quality point of view, we must continue to demonstrate and communicate that in those areas where significant choices exist within the state and region, the University of Montana is the place of study for things like health professions, for business, for education, for the arts, and certainly the liberal arts and sciences. Additionally, pragmatically, our resources are tied to enrollment, and we can do more in terms of quality programming if we have a larger student body. So what should our enrollment goals be? Well, rather than answering that in terms of an absolute number, I'm calling for a new enrollment management plan that will set goals and establish strategies based upon the following assumptions. Over the next 5 years, we will reestablish our market share of the Montana resident student population to a dominant position in the state. Secondly, over the next 5 years, we'll establish the non-resident population of our student body to reflect 30% of the total enrollment. Goals for special groups of students will be set to achieve a vigorous growth trajectory from our current position. This applies to dual credit students, graduate students, veterans, Native American students, and international students. Next, we need to make adjustments to our academic portfolio to ensure that we're offering what students want and what our society demands in terms of our graduates. In last year's State of the University address, I charged the faculty, deans, and provost to undertake the Academic Alignment and Innovation Program. This in-depth examination of our academic programming had several objectives: to examine those programs challenged by enrollment or perceived strength and suggest adjustments, to identify programs that are ready for growth as demonstrated by student demand and placement, and identify programs that we should add given our mission that we don't have at all at the present time. Under the leadership of Professor Andrew Ware, the team conducted the AAIP. Their final report is now being posted online, and it will be the topic of the first Faculty Senate meeting in September. The AAIP task force did indeed present recommendations in all 3 categories of those questions. So now we must proceed to implement those recommendations. So I'm now asking the provost, the deans, and the faculty senate to determine the sequencing of specific actions by identifying a program from each of those categories: a challenge program, a program ready for growth, and a new program in each of the upcoming 4 to 5 years. So by the end of that time, we will have a substantially enhanced academic portfolio. Another aspect of the AAIP charge was to examine how our founding roots in the liberal arts should manifest in today's world. An outgrowth of the AAIP will be a major on-campus conference this October 26-27 entitled Defining a 21st Century Education for a Vibrant Democracy. We will use this campus-wide gathering to engage in lively discussion about how our overall educational experience should be shaped and delivered. You've already received a save-the-date notice, so please plan to attend any or all of the sessions as your schedule permits. The conference will set the stage for decisions to come in these next 5 years and beyond. Last year, I also charged Mike Reed, Vice President for Admin and Finance, to come up with a more logical construct for how we budget resources internally. In particular, I asked him to assess how many employees are right for us at the University of Montana, given our current enrollment trends. We will move forward adjusting our workforce using the following straightforward benchmarks. For our kind of institution, a public research university, the national normative student-to-faculty ratio is 18:1. We'll adjust faculty using that ratio. Likewise, we'll use for our non-faculty workforce, a ratio of 1.4 non-faculty for every faculty FTE, again guided by national norms for peer institutions. Obviously, these ratios will be used as budgeting targets, and the actual numbers may vary slightly from those, but we'll use these ratios as a guide to make strategic decisions about our most important resource, our employees. We have normal turnover rates on the faculty side of approximately 4 to 5%, and on the non-faculty side of approximately 10%. So we can achieve our employee numerical goals through strategic planning around those normal attrition rates over time. A third review that I commissioned last year was an administrative review, essentially looking at all of our non-academic units and asking questions about effectiveness in much the same manner as with the AAIP. That review is still in progress, led by Matt Riley, our Chief Information Officer, and he'll be assisted by a special visitor we have on campus this fall, Rick Lagan. Rick is the president of the Association of Governing Boards, and he's spending a semester-long sabbatical here in Missoula to our tremendous benefit. So his expertise in higher education and organizational effectiveness will be put to work in that administrative review. It's also time for a comprehensive review of our strategic plan, UM 2020, Building a University for the Global Century. We established that plan nearly 5 years ago now, hard to believe, but we must review the overall plan, re-examine the specific metrics and specific goals, and determine what strategies are working, what strategies need to be modified, and what new strategies are called for. So I will be appointing a special task force to review the strategic plan. Please let me know if you're interested in that. As I indicated earlier, we have had terrific support in recent years through philanthropy. Over the next 5 years, that effort will be even further intensified because those funds are so essential to making the kinds of changes and improvements that propel us to greatness. We will conduct an unprecedented and a transformative fundraising effort over these next several years. Again, our most valuable resource, again, as the provost mentioned, is our people that work here and power this institution. With respect to our people, we will remain committed to 3 ideals. First, we will attract and retain the best people we possibly can. Every hire must be viewed as a special opportunity, and we must work to attract the best person to each and every position, from custodian to advisor to faculty member to vice president. Second, we will emphasize respect and responsibility on the part of every member of our community. I've asked Vice President Teresa Branch to work with the campus to continue striving toward creating the optimal learning community by focusing on those 2 words, respect and responsibility. Finally, we will emphasize leadership, as I said, at every turn. That plays out in the education of our students, in the professional development of our employees, in the makeup of our leadership teams, and with each and every one of us in this room. To further these efforts, I'm pleased to announce the creation of a new leadership program, the Women's Leadership Initiative. If you look at the leadership team here on the stage, a great leadership team, we need more women on our leadership team. The centerpiece of the Women's Leadership Initiative will begin with an inaugural cohort of 12 female faculty, staff, and administrators to engage in networking and capacity development. The open application process for this cohort begins today and can be found on the initiative's website. I have appointed this year's Presidential Leadership Fellow to coordinate the initiative. Associate Director of the Mansfield Center, Dina Mansour, has created leadership programs for a variety of constituencies, including women, youth, and society change makers. She's already begun to reach out across campus to help define the outcomes of this program. Dina, if you would please stand and let us join me in welcoming Dina to this position. I'm pleased that this initiative will be in parallel to another similar initiative focused on students. That being a new entrepreneurship initiative for young women created by Regents Professor Jackie Moore in the School of Business Administration and her colleagues, along with folks in the Blackstone Launchpad. Our success as a university is perhaps demonstrated most effectively through the accomplishments of our alumni, how they have leveraged their education into a productive and fulfilling life. We celebrated this year our own Oscar winner, J.K. Simmons, a graduate of our College of Visual and Performing Arts. Each year at homecoming, we recognize alumni who have distinguished themselves in their careers, in service to their community or profession, and in their modeling of what a graduate stands for. This homecoming, we will recognize 4 such people. John Grotzinger, who received a master's degree in geology at in 1981 and is now the mission leader and project scientist for NASA's Mars Science Laboratory mission at the California Institute of Technology. Jennifer Isern of New Delhi, India. She received her bachelor's degree here in political science in 1981. She is now the senior manager for the World Bank and for the International Finance Corporation. Our own Sheila Stearns, right here from Missoula, who earned 3 degrees at the University of Montana and was Montana's longest-serving Commissioner of Higher Education, and of course is a highly respected advocate for educational opportunity both here and around the country. Sidney Thomas of Billings, who earned a Juris Doctorate at in 1978. He is the Chief Judge of the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, the largest judicial circuit in the country. Those are the kind of people who represent us upon graduation, and we're so proud to be able to recognize them in return. So in closing, I will say that together we have achieved a great deal these last several years. There's so much to be done to realize the full promise of the University of Montana. But we have the people here in this room, along with thousands of others, with the drive and the creativity to get us there. The upcoming years will be fast and furious. The provost said the last 5 were fast and furious. The upcoming will be faster and more furious. But most of all, they will be fun and rewarding. Now is our time for the University of Montana. So full speed ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, President Engstrom. I just hope you're all feeling that you're up to the challenge. He's given us some wonderful challenges, some things before us that we need to attend to, and I just ask all of you to join all the rest of us in making those things happy. This will end our ceremony. I want to just say to you, have a wonderful year, and remember 2 little things. First, that we are all Grizzlies, and second, that we are Montana. Thank you.